Back with part 2 of Edging Your Way Out of Danger. Part 1, Positional Escapes. Part 2 will be Submission Escapes. I am here with the Venezuelan vixen, Freddie Pedrick. Obviously, last time we talked a bit too much about his infatuation with single moms. We'll try to move past that for this one. We really went too far on that one last time. So this instructional, obviously, Submission Escapes, we're going to be covering a broad range of submissions. Last time we did positional escapes, we only did basically 3, maybe 4 different positions. This time, obviously, it's an endless amount of submissions. We're going to try to cover the basic submissions you're going to find yourself in as a beginner. Again, this is tailored towards beginners. So we're going to be doing simple submission escapes, arm bars, kimuras, guillotines, footlocks. What I really want this product to fill the void for people of is when you first start training hard, there'll be one guy in the gym, all he does is footlocks. He'll just attack that all the time. Just some basic defensive instructions to help you rob them of their main weapon. Again, most of the time you're a white or blue belt, it's fun training because guys are really only good at 1 or 2 things. So it's a fun way to use these products to shut down, to solve a problem for that one asshole in the gym that keeps doing the same move to you. Something to understand about the submission escapes is certain submissions like arm bars, kimuras can be hit from a variety of places. So the arm bar is everywhere. You can go for arm bars from back, mount, close guard. You can do it transitioning through a pass, even out of takedowns, both offensively and defensively. The arm bar is always going to be there. So it's something we need to spend a lot of time working the defense of. Whereas other submissions like the rear naked, obviously, you only present a challenge from back control. However, something to understand is the rear naked is going to have a much stronger success rate. If someone locks a rear naked on you, the chances they're going to finish it are much, much higher than an armbar. Whereas armbar has much broader diversity of positions it can come up in. But I do think it's a significantly weaker submission. But again, it's something we need to spend a lot of time working on because obviously no one wants to take an elbow injury. Some sort of overarching guides for this product, you're going to have to put yourself in danger in the training room to work these. So I would recommend drill it enough that you understand these movements without much resistance. Now start to add in light resistance with your training partners. Very light resistance. Again, it's not in a rolling format. Just add in some resistance to sort of test these movements to make sure that you are making them work with mild resistance. And then the final form from there would be to pick training partners you know are safe. So something that shouldn't happen is you train with someone, he gets your arm extended and he just pops it straight away. You want to have a safe training room where if Freddie puts me in an armbar, Freddie's just going to try to control me for 3 seconds. And if he does that, I know that's enough time. Likely he would have broken my arm. What we don't want is training partners that get frustrated when the escape works and start to rip things, right? Because, or those training partners that will say, hey, you only got out because I didn't rip it. That's not really the case. The case is they just are shit at arm bars. Like for you to break a limb, you need to be able to control it for a period of time. So this submission escapes is the focus of the instructional, but drilling this is good for both of you. So if me and Freddie, we'll probably do some light drilling to demonstrate the sort of initial pace I want you to take, but it's good for both of us. Freddie practiced controlling me late stage in these submissions, and I got to practice late stage escapes where neither of us are getting injured. Obviously, if we're alternating offense to defense here. Again, neither of you should get injured. Something we need to remember. We're going to go through some key concepts for submission escapes, but yeah, you need to be able to relax in these bad positions because, and the only way to learn how to relax in them is have safe training partners so don't injure you straight away. Obviously, I give Freddie my arm. He breaks it first time. I'm going to be pretty tense returning to training after that injury heals up. So we need to really be safe early in this so you don't have too many fear responses. You can think about these problems technically rather than emotionally. But yeah, we'll get into the concepts, and the first submission defense position will be the armbar. The first concept we will be covering today will be to relax. So when we're in bad positions, it goes without saying that you want to relax in these positions so you can think clearly and make intelligent decisions. We don't want erratic movements. Erratic movements are dangerous. If I move the wrong way fast in an armbar, I can actually increase the likelihood that he pops my arm. Other situations that we want to relax in would be things like a Darce choke, right? If I have someone in a Darce choke and they're giving a panic reaction, that sort of leads me to know that for sure I have this person in trouble. Some of the hardest people to choke are the people that you're not quite sure if you are actually choking them or not because they're so chill in these positions, right? Again, we need to relax. Obviously, we've got Freddie back here, but this is actually it's the strongest grips I've ever felt out of him. It must have been a while since he's used those hands. But guys, we need to relax in these positions. I can't emphasize enough how hard that's going to be. You're going to be scared. You're in a submission. Someone's potentially in a position to break your arm or choke you unconscious, break your shoulder, break your foot, whatever. We need to be able to relax in these positions. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is throw yourself into the fire and have training partners that aren't going to injure you, that are going to allow you to learn in these positions. You need to understand the next step. Obviously, when a student starts massaging you, you know which direction that goes in. But what I mean by this is specifically when we're in a position where we are in a submission, we need to know how to obviously do the submission offensively because we need to understand what our opponents are looking for next. Oftentimes, that's the difference between high-level guys and lower-level guys, and that's why lower-level guys, even when we're playing around, we'll always say, hey, it feels like you're already 2-3 steps ahead. You already know what we're going to do. That makes us look super intelligent, but again, the sport's full of some of the dumbest people you could ever imagine, and they can figure this out, so you can too. Oftentimes, when I'm in something like a Kimura and my hands are connected, obviously I know the next step for Freddie is going to try to separate the hands. I know if I'm in a chin strap and Freddie's threatening front head style guillotine attacks, I know the next step from a chin strap is probably going to be connect an arm in guillotine or a high elbow or a high wrist. We sort of can understand what the next step is. As you become more experienced, when our opponents have more options available to them, we sort of statistically have spent enough time on the mats. We know what the most effective option for them is and focus our defense in that direction. So again, we need to sort of understand through being having experience in these bad positions, in these submissions, we can only gain the knowledge of what we think they're going to do next by spending so much time in these positions. Again, someone's got me in a triangle. It seems pretty likely if my arm's on the wrong side, they're going to try to work that to the good side. So again, that doesn't take a genius to know what's coming next. It just takes someone with very little experience, I'll say, but just having been in that position enough times. If you only do this during rolling and you're always freaking out, quite often you'll get submitted and not know what just happened, not know where you messed up. So sometimes it's good to obviously, like I said, relax, slow it down, start to feel what you think they need next to complete the submission, and then we focus our attention on simply defending the next step, not freaking out, panicking, trying to rip arms out or roll out of things immediately, just step by step, understanding what they need next. And that's a very satisfying feeling. It's a great way to torture people that you're better than. You give them a good thing, and then you rob them of the final thing they need to get the finish. That's great psychological torture that you can inflict on people you're better than. All right, so there's a few key stages involved in submission defense. Everyone knows early, mid, and late stage, but we kind of have a few things there too. If you like to live dangerously, we can bait submissions. And obviously, sometimes we get quarter submissions and we can counter them. So like if I bait it, obviously I've got a counter in mind, but sometimes even when someone hits part of a submission flush, we can already think of the counter. We have all those stages, but we also have just basic prevention if we know what they're going for. So if Freddie's on bottom in half guard here, it's facing me. Prevention would be, let's say I know Freddie's good at Kimuras. We're going to cover this later in more detail. I might just turn my thumb up. Now when he goes for a Kimura, very weak. If my thumb's pointed down, he bends the elbow, he can secure a Kimura grip. So again, if I'm really worried about this guy on bottom, maybe it's fucking Harry Kimura, we all know what he's going to do, he's named himself that. If I have my thumb up and Freddie's trying to secure a Kimura, he can get straight armbar pressure, but it'd be tough. Be tough for him in this position. Maybe top position, he'd have a bit more success. That's what I'd call prevention. Baiting would be, let's say Freddie's real disciplined here. I can't secure a crossface. We can do little things that are baits. I can give him the Kimura, and when he goes to grab her, I use my knee to clear it to secure the crossface. So again, we know if he's being real defensive here. And again, when you bait things, you like to live dangerously because sometimes these things go real bad. But I know he needs wrist control first. So I give it to him. I place my knee inside. That allows me to strip the grip. And we can secure our crossface. Another great one is if he does grab the Kimura grip, I can step out, step over the head, and start thinking about countering him from his Kimura into my armbar. Again, you guys can see that is a risky maneuver, but that's part of the fun of the sport sometimes, is if they do, is just living dangerously. Throw